Standing Simmer here today, coming at you for another speed build in The Sims 4. So today is another installment of my base game plus or limited packs build series, whichever you prefer to call it. This, I think, is the fourth installment. So we've officially been doing this series for about a month or so on my channel, which is super, super exciting. Like, that's awesome. I can't believe we made it this far, and just there have been a lot of really good ideas so far, and I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying, you know, I feel pretty proud of how far I've branched out as far as build styles and pack combinations and such go, and I'm really excited for what the future of this series will be. So yeah, let me tell you guys a little bit about what we're building today so you can have a pretty good idea going in here. So first of all, when I was deciding what I wanted to build as a part of today's video, I was thinking I wanted to build a Craftsman style home, which obviously you could tell is a part of the title. Craftsman is just a style that I really think is just absolutely gorgeous. I really like the country style. I like the homey feeling of a Craftsman style home. And again, I really do like to see other people build Craftsman style homes. So I was thinking that the other day, and I was thinking about how I've never actually attempted to build one myself, and that I had absolutely no idea where to start. So how I began actually is looking up a couple of different videos on YouTube, because, you know, why not reach out to other simmers when it comes to looking for inspiration. And I found some amazing builders who do build Craftsman style homes and who do so somewhat regularly. One of whom is Zistel here on YouTube. A lot of you guys might be familiar with her and her channel. If you aren't familiar with her channel, I highly recommend you go and check it out. She, in my opinion, is like one of the queens of the Craftsman style. She has built several on her channel here recently, especially, and she just does the style so well. Like, they just end up looking incredible. So yeah, guys, if you haven't seen her channel yet and you've not experienced her builds just yet, I highly recommend that you do so, because yeah, she's incredible. So she is one that I kind of looked to for some inspiration when it came to building in the Craftsman style. But Emmy Sims also has built some Craftsman style homes here recently. Actually, in fact, Zistel and Emmy Sims did a collab here recently on a Craftsman style home. So it was kind of the perfect combination. A couple of my favorite YouTubers, and their build styles are just gorgeous. And I think that they both do really well when it comes to this style specifically. And so I actually reached out to Zistel over on Twitter. I sent her a DM, and I was like, hey, so I'm considering doing a Craftsman style build for one of these series that I have on my channel, and I was wondering if you could recommend a certain pack or two that you feel like you use more than any others when it comes to building in this style. Because I didn't really want to go into this build and be like, okay, I'm gonna pick, you know, such and such random pack and this other random pack, and then it turned out that I'm just not able at all to make the style look good when it comes to the home, especially since I'm unfamiliar with the style. So she got back to me very quickly, which I so appreciate, and she told me that cats and dogs is one that she feels like she reaches for a lot when it comes to a Craftsman style home, which makes complete sense, right? I mean, it's this rustic style. I thought that was perfect because I had not yet built something in this limited packs build series with the Cats and Dogs expansion pack, so it all kind of worked out all around. So yes, guys, today we are building a Craftsman style family home, which I believe I've entitled Cluttered Family Craftsman, and we are using only the base game, Cats and Dogs, the expansion pack, and the Bowling Night Stuff pack. Now, that's kind of weird. I fully understand that combination is kind of weird, just all around. It doesn't seem like those two packs fit well together, but honestly, guys, that was kind of my goal with this build today. I didn't want it to be ridiculously easy. Like, I didn't want to pick two packs that I felt like went perfectly with this theme, because I knew Cats and Dogs would help me out a lot, but then I wanted to kind of throw in a pack that I knew would challenge me a little bit and possibly make this build a little bit more unique. So that's what we're building with today, guys. Base game, Cats and Dogs, and the Bowling Night Stuff pack. So if you would happen to have those three components, I should say, I assume if you play The Sims 4, you obviously do have the base game, and if you have the Cats and Dogs expansion pack along with the Bowling Night Stuff pack, then everything in this house will load no problem. You guys will not have any issues at all downloading this, which you guys will be so proud of me. I'm going to go ahead and mention right now that this build is up on the gallery. When I finished building it the other night, as is my custom, I went ahead and just tossed it up on the gallery. And so yeah, it should already be available there, no problem. My gallery ID is Standing Simmer, and I always put my builds under the hashtag Standing Simmer as well. So it is available for download should you guys want to go ahead and do that. So yeah, guys, I'm really excited to have built in this style today. You'll have to let me know what you think. If you think I, nailed the Craftsman style, or if you have any ideas for how I could improve it, if I would ever do another build like this on the channel, because I always welcome your feedback. I really enjoy hearing from you guys just in general. But especially that constructive criticism is kind of what I'm looking for as I go through this journey of trying to grow as a builder. Because like I said, I've never built anything quite like this before. I definitely wanted to build a family home as well this week, because the last definitely the last build, and I'm forgetting if the build before that was this way as well. Yes, the last two builds that were installments of this series were not technically family homes. They were actually pretty small and really could only fit up to 2 Sims that were a couple. So I definitely wanted to build another family home as a part of this series, because I love playing in family homes, because my Sims almost always end up with these massive families. So I definitely wanted to, kind of dive into the family home style again. And once again, I feel like that Craftsman fit really, really well with that style. So yeah, guys, I mentioned Zistel a little while ago, and Emmy Sims as well. You should definitely go check out their channels and their builds if you haven't already. If I remember, I will definitely link them down in the description to make it easier for you guys to find them if you, again, haven't found their channels already. So as I've kind of rambled around here, we've already passed the exterior structure of the house and a couple of rooms. I had a couple of reference pictures I was looking at, in addition to having taken inspiration from some builds I see here on YouTube for the Craftsman style. That's where I got the idea to do the chimney that kind of went up through the center of the house versus sitting along the outside, the very edge of the house, so to speak. So if you saw that earlier and you kind of wondered what was going on there, it came from a reference photo. It was definitely not out of my brain. And I really like the way that that ended up turning out too. It looks kind of unique in my mind. So yeah, I really like the way that that looks. And the whole exterior of this house, along with some tones here and there on the inside, I really wanted to incorporate some darker woods. So I don't know exactly what typical color schemes are for Craftsman style homes, but I did like the idea of having those darker woods kind of, thrown here and there. So if you're a person who kind of gets irritated when a lot of different wood tones are mixed, I'm so sorry. This build will probably be slightly triggering, because there is wood tones mismatched galore kind of all through this. Because while I did want to try to use some of those wood tones, those darker wood tones, I also mix and match some lighter tones in here as well. So just a heads up, that will be happening kind of in and out of this build. So like I said, we have already finished the whole exterior structure. We've not yet done the landscaping. That will actually come a little closer to the end. I did want to let you guys know that I have cut out all of the bathrooms in this build, and of course, as you have already seen, I did cut out the floor plan as well, because believe me, it took me ages. You did not want to see me struggle. It was such a struggle, but we got there in the end. And right now we're working on the living room, as you can see, and I really like that I was able to use that bowling night stuff pack rug with the more traditional cats and dogs and base game furniture. I really like that I was kind of able to throw that in there. Again, that was kind of my goal with this, although really when it all comes down to it, I feel like this is a very heavily cats and dogs build, which I hope you guys won't mind too much. I pretty well could have just used cats and dogs in the base game, and this house wouldn't look too ridiculously different, except for a couple of rooms that you'll see later on. But yeah, this is a lot of cats and dogs and just a little bit of the bowling night stuff pack. So yeah, that, again, the whole idea with throwing in the bowling night stuff pack, since it is such a weird one to combine with cats and dogs in the base game, was to just challenge myself by using something that was kind of totally different than I felt like went with these packs, more or less. At some point I might challenge myself and try to build like a community lot, such as a bowling alley that incorporates the Bowling Night Stuff Pack. But I thought it was kind of fun, you know, the idea of doing something completely different with it and incorporating it in a more traditional family home rather than something a little bit more retro or mid-century modern, as the Bowling Night Stuff Pack tends to accommodate really, really well. So I was talking a little while ago about, you know, the various rooms in the house and how I've cut past a lot of the bathrooms and things like that. But I did want to let you guys know that this house ended up being, well, for one thing, it's massive. Like this is such a big house. And that's because I ended up building it on a 40 by 30 lot, which I've never done before here on the channel. This is the first 40 by 30 lot build that you will probably see here. And I wouldn't say one of the last, but I'm probably not going to be doing it every week or anything like that, because this was such a big lot when it came to trying to fit the entire house on it and landscaping it later on. I like how everything ends up fitting in the end, but it was causing me just a little bit of stress when it all came down to it, because oh my gosh, there's a lot of space on this lot. So like I said, since it is such a big house, we ended up being able to squeeze in 4 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms. So I was kind of proud of that. Like I said, I had a lot of space to work with, and that might not be that ridiculously impressive, but I really like that I was able to make this. If I'm gonna do a family home, I like being able to do like a family home. You know, there are a lot of Sims that can fit in this house, which, you know, you'll see later on as we get to the bedrooms, but this honestly could fit a family of a really, really decent size, which I like. That was kind of my goal when building it, because again, when I play with my Sim families, you know, they have lots and lots of kids, and sometimes there are multi-generational families living under the same roof, and so it's really nice to have a variety of living areas and bedrooms and such that you can squeeze all of those Sims in. So yeah, this will be the perfect house if you have a whole bunch of Sims in one family that really need a place to live and you don't necessarily care about how much money it costs, because I think that this ended up, now of course this is including the cost of the lot, I believe, but it ended up being just over 200K. So it's pretty expensive. Cluttered is in the name, so I wasn't really trying to restrict myself budget-wise. Actually, to be honest with you, I probably need to do some sort of a budget build here on the channel pretty soon, because I don't think I've done that yet. All of my builds have been somewhat pack restricted, or maybe size restricted, but I haven't done anything that I could consider budget restricted just yet. I've built, I think the most inexpensive lot I've built so far was hovering somewhere around 30K possibly. So yeah, I might need to challenge myself and do something like a starter or maybe a 10K budget build. You guys will definitely have to let me know if you'd like to see something like that. And not just a budget build in general, but give me some ideas if there's something in particular that maybe one of your Sims needs, or just something you feel like would be interesting to watch, because I'm totally up for that challenge. This week on the channel, in fact, I've done so many large builds, it feels like. I hope you guys aren't getting sick of the big build and the longer voiceovers, because let's see, this is going up on a Thursday, as is typical with my Base Game Plus build series. But earlier in the week on Monday, we had a collab with Chrissy York, which you guys should definitely go check out if you haven't seen that yet. That was an apartment renovation of one of the largest apartments in San Myshuno, over in Uptown. And so that was a really long build and a very long voiceover. And then, let's see, Tuesday was the Brindleton Bakery community lot. So this has actually been a week of a lot of firsts for the channel, it looks like. Had the first collab on Monday, and then my first community lot on Tuesday. So there's also another video I may be releasing possibly tomorrow, which will be another first, but I haven't quite decided if I'm gonna do that yet. I have it recorded and edited and everything like that and rendered. I don't want to spam you guys, if that makes sense. Like, okay, so real talk here for a second. We're gonna talk about my schedule. I am honestly only committing right now to about 3 videos per week. And I've kind of tried to aim for that since the beginning. My goal since I started my channel was to try to upload on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So far, it's worked out for me to do kind of a random build on Tuesdays. Like I said, this week it was a community lot. Last week I think it was like a smaller beach house, you know, that kind of thing. So no real rhyme or reason. Thursdays so far has been this build series, which you're watching today, the Limited Packs or Base Game Plus build series. And then Saturdays has been my current household updates for the Lyrics Legacy Challenge. Of course, I recommend that you go back and watch all of these videos that I've just mentioned to you, but you can do that if you like. Maybe you've already caught them. If so, I really, really appreciate it. But yeah, so that's kind of what I've been going for schedule-wise. But the past couple of weeks have presented me with opportunities that allow me to deviate from that schedule, which I've been really excited about. It's just that it's made it so that I'm uploading more times per week than I had initially intended, and I'm totally fine with that. But I'm still kind of the opinion that, like, I'm a smaller YouTuber. I've just kind of gotten started not too long ago, and I don't know how many videos you guys actually want to watch from me per week. So I know I have an amazing audience so far, and you guys are absolutely incredible. Like, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate those of you who watch my videos, and a lot of you comment on nearly every one. And like I said, that honestly means the world to me. But at the same time, I don't want to spam your feeds. So this week, it might work out that I'm uploading 5 videos, which I really hope you guys don't mind. But of course, as with any YouTube videos, I know a lot of us, even if we really, really like a YouTuber, might pick and choose what videos we like to watch. So for example, you know, this week there are a couple of builds, but 2 of those are house builds and 1 is a community lot. And on Saturday will be my current household update, which is more gameplay. And then the surprise special video I'm thinking about uploading is a little bit more cast related. So, I mean, those might appeal to you guys in different ways. And like I said, some of you might choose to pick and choose which ones you do watch, even though I know if you're like me, I tend to watch just about every video that comes from my favorite YouTubers. I'm kind of like a mass consumer when it comes to YouTube videos. I keep my watch later playlist updated all the time and just get to the videos when I can. And so I don't tend to pick and choose too much, but I understand some people do. So the purpose for this whole long, rambling set of sentences that I've just kind of given you guys is that there might be more videos this week than I have committed myself to doing on a regular basis. So I just wanted to let you guys know that yes, there might be quite a few videos this week, but I'm still kind of only trying to aim for about 3 per week, as long as I can still manage that. We'll have to make adjustments to that schedule as we progress, if it seems like I might be able to do more than that. But yeah, that's kind of all I'm aiming to commit myself to at this point, at least. So to kind of catch up on the build here for a second, oh my goodness, I just totally talked and talked past the entire first floor, guys. What a talent, right? So I think what we would have just done was everything from the living room to the kitchen to we did the office area in there somewhere, the dining room, and the master. And I forgot to mention it entirely because I was talking about something completely different when we got to it, but there's also like a tiny little cat bedroom, I guess you could say, or a little cat space down on the very first floor. There was this little like 2x2 room that I didn't exactly know what to do with. And so I just tucked in like a little shelving unit and a litter box in there. And honestly, if the family that lives here that belongs to you doesn't have a cat, then perhaps you could put in a dog, dog stuff, or if you have the laundry day stuff pack, it would be the ideal room for a laundry room, because honestly, guys, that's what I was initially intending to do with that, until I remembered that this is a limited packs build and I don't actually have access to laundry day stuff for this build. So yes, that's what happened down there. I've actually done that in a couple of these builds so far. I consciously do the floor plan intending to put in a laundry room, and then realize after I've done the floor plan that I can't actually squeeze in a laundry room because the build I'm doing doesn't include laundry day. So yeah, there's just this little bonus room downstairs that your pet could inhabit, or that you could put something else in if you wanted to. So the thing I was just tossing up on the wall there just a second ago, as long as my voiceover is relatively in sync with the video, was the new family portrait item that is kind of, I think it's technically considered a free pack that The Sims has just released, but you being able to access it in your game is kind of hinges on whether or not you have The Sims Mobile downloaded to your phone. So I did want to tell you guys something about that if perhaps you've heard about this and maybe you're like me and a little frustrated that you can't actually access The Sims Mobile, because first of all, I've not really been interested in The Sims Mobile since it came out because I don't like to play games on my phone very much. It's just really not my thing. I'd much rather play on my PC if I can help it. And I do own The Sims 4, so you know, why not? Why not just use it? And so what I did was, if you click on that icon on your main menu when you open up The Sims 4, it'll have you put in your phone number and send a code to your phone with a link to download the app. And of course, my phone doesn't have the ability to download The Sims Mobile because it's of an older operating system. I don't know exactly how that works. It just can't download The Sims Mobile. That's just how my phone is. So I just entered my phone number and then pressed submit. And then it told me that I had unlocked the item, even though I never actually opened up or signed into The Sims Mobile on my phone, because I can't. So I don't know if that will work for you guys if you want to attempt that, but if you just absolutely want to get that free item, that technique did work for me. I don't know if it will work for you, but it did work for me. And again, didn't require me to actually sign into or download The Sims Mobile to begin with. So there's a little tip if you guys want to try that out, because if you're like me, eventually, I would love to have all of the icons on that lovely main menu completely full, since I've purchased a lot of the packs and have redeemed a lot of the free packs. So if it bothers you to have that little space down there on the bottom of the main menu that you haven't yet redeemed, then that was the way that I got around that. So like I said, don't know if that will be helpful to you, but that's what I did to get that item in the game. And I've not used it very much yet. I've hung it up in my Sims home, but I haven't really played around with the settings on it or anything like that. So you guys will have to let me know if you like that new family portrait item that has come since the most recent patch update to The Sims. You'll have to let me know if you like it. So once again, having rambled my way through half the rooms on this upper floor, let me tell you guys what we're doing a little bit. Well, we are furnishing, the first room that we furnished here on the first floor was the main room to incorporate a lot of items from the Bowling Night stuff pack. I imagine that perhaps one of the adults in this house, or maybe one of the children, is really, really into bowling. So there are quite a few bowling statues and things like that in there. All around, it's just kind of like a family game room, hangout room kind of a thing. So there's like a TV and a punching bag and one of those little base game card tables in that room. So it's just kind of a fun little hangout room with some cute decorations from the Bowling Night stuff pack. And so that was pretty much what that was. And then, you know, kind of we had, of course, moved through the hallway area, furnishing it like a regular hallway area, you know, boring. But then the room that we furnished with the peach-colored bed from the Cats and Dogs expansion pack a little bit ago was a room that I imagined for perhaps a parent of one of the adult Sims living here in this house, like maybe like a mother-in-law type quarter area, because it's the only room on this top floor that has an ensuite. So I thought it would be really nice if maybe one of the grandparents was actually alive and living with this family. Then that way they could have their own kind of private space, but and then of course a bathroom to accompany the bedroom, but they would still live here with the family. So that's kind of what I imagined for that room. Of course, it's decorated pretty simply, so you can put whoever you want in that room. It could work well for a teenager, I imagine, as well. And then the room we were furnishing a little bit ago with the 2 single beds, I thought would be for, well, for children, basically. I didn't necessarily have, you know, like 2 girls, 2 boys, or a boy and a girl in mind, or any particular age group necessarily. I feel like it would fit children pretty well, but you could also make a couple of changes and fit some teens in there just as well. But then the room that we're working on right now is one of my favorite in the house, and it's for, well, I imagine a teenage girl to live in this room, because I really like the idea of incorporating the purples and then the really dark colors like the dark grays and the blacks. We haven't gotten there just yet, but I end up putting in like an easel and some painting type items. And then you saw a little bit ago, I put the little guitar right there next to the desk area. So I thought that, I hate to go along with the stereotype that like edgy teenage girl is also kind of musically inclined, but that was just kind of what I was thinking for this room. So that's what we do here in this room. And I really like the way that this turned out as well. Like I said, it's probably one of my favorite rooms in the whole entire build. So yeah, and that honestly pretty well wraps up the interior of the house for the most part. So like I said, we end up with 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. Let me see, we have 3 double beds and 2 single beds. So you can fit a lot of Sims in this house. 2 of the double beds, both here in the teenage room, or who I imagine to be for the teenage room, and then in the quote unquote like mother-in-law quarters are pushed up against the wall. So I don't think you could fit more than 1 Sim in those beds, but you know, you can probably make adjustments in the room and end up being able to fit even more Sims in this house, because like I said, it is a massive house. I also really liked that we ended up with not only the main living area downstairs, but also the kind of game room slash homework room upstairs. So there's a lot of living area that your Sims can kind of bounce around in. I always like having a bit more of like that well-rounded family. So it's nice to have a lot of living areas to kind of send your Sims off to and help keep them occupied that way. I just always think that that's kind of nice when it comes to personal gameplay. So now we're working on the backyard area, and this cool little thing I'm doing over here in the corner is something I just came up with kind of randomly. I didn't exactly know what I was going for, but I thought I might want to put a little shed type area out here. So this is like where your gardening tools would go, and I also end up putting in a woodworking bench. So your handy type Sims can escape into this nice little woodshed area and work on their handiness skill on the woodworking table. And so I just thought this was kind of cute. I thought it fit well the style of like a Craftsman style home, but then also afforded the opportunity to put in another skill building item, which I try to do somewhat regularly. I always like it when a home looks nice, but is always really functional for actual gameplay, which, like I've said before, is why I enjoy when a home has a lot of living space and quite a few bedrooms, and like I said, has a lot of skill building items just in general, because that means that you don't have to do too much modifying of the house when you move your Sims in, other than possibly like modifying the bedrooms, for example. So yeah, like I said, hopefully this conglomeration of skill building items along with the living areas is good for you guys and your Sim families who might possibly want to live here. And yeah, just kind of popping in some extra little roof decorations. I really wanted that cool little like weather vane thing to work well on top of that little woodshed, but that was gonna look really funny if I ended up putting it that way. So we don't do that. I did want to tell you guys real quick, because I was actually just watching one of her videos earlier, that another person who is like a major inspiration to me when it comes to doing these base game plus builds and such is Dr. Ashley. Now, you guys, again, all the people I've mentioned have channels that are much larger than me and have been building for quite a while. And so I would not be surprised in the least if you already are aware of their channels. But if you aren't, you should definitely go give her channel a try, because she does such amazing things with just the base game. Like, girl does weekly base game builds, and that just blows my mind a little bit, because I have not yet restricted myself to using only the base game in one of these builds. I've always kind of made it a little easier on myself and said, okay, we're doing base game and then, you know, such and such pack along with such and such pack, right? So she, like I said, on an almost weekly basis, and I say almost for a reason, I'll tell you here in a second, but on an almost weekly basis, puts out base game only builds of family homes and things like that. And she's kind of like a magician at it. Like she makes these builds look so good, and I feel like she would tell you kind of right off that she doesn't feel like she's a very experienced builder, because I know she began her channel in an effort to try to improve her building skills, but she's so good at it for one thing, and she's so creative with the way that she uses just the base game items that it blows my mind every time I watch one of her videos. And so, like I said, if you guys have not watched her videos and have not discovered her channel yet, you definitely should go give her a look. And again, along with Zistel and Emmy Sims channels, I'll try to link hers down below as well, because just watching her videos has inspired me so much when it comes to these types of videos that I really feel like you guys should be watching them as well. So I said earlier that she does base game builds on like an almost regular basis, and that's because here recently she's also been kind of experimenting with using base game plus one pack. So I believe she said before that she has acquired the City Living and Get to Work and Cats and Dogs expansion packs, and that she currently owns those 3 expansion packs. and she has done builds using all of those packs in conjunction with just the base game. So she had a series here recently that as of right now is on hiatus, but will be coming back for season 2, that she does apartment renovations with just base game and the City Living expansion pack. But then the build I watched of hers today was her first ever using Get to Work and the base game. And so like I said, I like to make sure that this community is like really well-rounded, like that if you guys aren't aware of some of these other really amazing channels, that you guys definitely check them out. I don't pretend to have like a ridiculously exclusive audience. I'm sure a lot of you guys, like myself, watch a lot of these other channels as well, but just in case you would happen to not be following them, I highly recommend that you do, because I look forward to all of their videos every week. Like I said, they're always gonna go on my watch later playlist, and I always look forward to kind of seeing what they do each week in the game. So yeah, again, she's been a major inspiration to me when it comes to doing this series and kind of helping me think outside the box when it comes to these types of builds. So yeah, like I said, just want to I kind of wanted to shout them out and make sure that you guys were watching them as well. So we are working on the backyard area. I cut out some of the landscaping because it's very, very repetitive. I've spoken about my landscaping style before. This is nothing new, but yeah, I skipped through a lot of it, but let you guys see just a little bit so that you can kind of get an idea of what I was going for. I love this backyard so much. Like, this is such a gorgeous backyard. I would live here in a heartbeat if just for the backyard, including the pool, which I don't often give my sim houses pools, but I kind of thought it fit well with this one. So yeah, I hope you guys like this build all around. Lots of kid stuff back here as well. It's a very kid-friendly home. So yeah, guys, that is the entirety of the build. Again, a very long build, a very long voiceover. I hope that you guys are still enjoying these houses and this limited packs build series. Again, you're always so nice to leave good comments with either like suggestions for improvement, but also just encouragement in general. And you guys honestly mean the world to me, which I've totally forgotten to mention until right now, but thank you so much for 50 subscribers. It's been a few days ago now by the time of this recording that we hit that landmark. It's not the landmark, oh my goodness, that we hit that milestone. But thank you guys so much. Like I said, you mean the world to me. I love creating content for you so much, and I just appreciate you all. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and leave you off here with the rest of the screenshots because there are several. But I hope you're having the best of days, and I will speak to you very soon. Bye.